Hello everyone, I am here to show off a client mod for Minecraft that I have been working on since a couple weeks ago, but I've actually only worked on it for like a few days of that time. But now it's finished and I'm going to show it to you all, and I hope that you will all find the features useful but not cheaty. So let's get into it. Everything that this mod does can be switched on and off or adjusted in this part of the options menu. It's a new submenu that I added, contains everything that this mod has. So to start with, this one's pretty simple. We'll do the coordinates. If I switch that on, I'll have coordinates in the upper left hand corner of the screen. I think it's rounded down rather than, rounded specifically, truncated to the nearest ones place. I think that's the most useful. And it has the directions there as well, which direction you're facing. If I press F3, it brings up the normal F3 menu, so you'll still have that. So yeah, if you wish to disable that feature of the mod, just get to it right here. Next up is the sidebar, which can now be hidden. By sidebar, I mean the sidebar display for scores, which is pretty common in a lot of UHC games now. Usually kills will be displayed on the side there, like so, some sort of objective like that, and that's just always there. In the vanilla game there's no way to hide that or anything. So in this now I give you the option to hide that, but it's not permanently hidden even whenever the option's on. You actually toggle it by bringing up the player list. Now right now, since I'm in single player, you won't actually see a player list coming up, but the key you press to bring this up is the same as the player list key, whatever you have that bound to. The tab menu is what it's usually referred to, because it's on the tab key by default. So yeah, press that and this will be displayed with the player list. The next thing to show off is the zoom key. This is similar to something that Optifine users will probably be very familiar with. If you press this key, whatever you bind it to, I should show that as well. In addition to being able to switch it on and off here, you can also rebind it, just like in other things. That will actually be found under controls with all the other controls. I felt like that was most intuitive. So yeah, you press that, and what it will do is set your field of view to 15, which basically gives you the effect of being zoomed in. It can help you read name tags that you've spotted or whatever. The field of view will always be 15. It's not adjusted by things like by going underwater. Like normally if I go underwater here, it changes my field of view. Zooming, that doesn't change regardless, and neither do things like potion effects. It's always the same amount. It's always 15. And yeah, in addition to being able to rebind that, if you are in a multiplayer game where Optifine zoom is not allowed, then you should definitely toggle that off here. It's not too inconvenient. Your key binding will still be saved and everything like that. You can just turn it off for the game and switch it back on, because some people consider this sort of thing cheaty. The most complicated feature of this mod would have to be the chat censorship, which is client side. So if there are certain things that you don't want to show up in your chat during a game, say if you're recording a video, then you can have your client filter these things out. So let me give you an example. If I type that, we'll notice that if I turn on the chat censorship, several of these words are now bleeped out. Now obviously these are not default words. I've changed my settings here to make it more viewer friendly. The default words are things that I personally will want to take out of my videos, but as I'm demonstrating, you can change them to whatever sorts of words you would like. I will warn you, if you click on this button to change the words, you are going to see a list of very offensive words. That's just how it works. So if you want to mess around with this, just keep that in mind. So if you click this button as well, after you make whatever changes, it will reset it to the defaults that I set whenever I coded this thing. For now, this is what we have. And yeah, I feel like it's pretty straightforward. You just type all of the words that you want into this box here, separated just by a single colon, no spaces or anything like that. Each colon will mark a new word to be censored. There is a limit of 64 words total and 1028 characters in this text box total. I had to set limits somewhere, and those seemed like good numbers to go with. One other thing to pay attention to is how you actually order the words within this text box. Usually it doesn't matter, but with these last two examples here, if you have one word that's a part of another word and they're not ordered correctly, you're going to see some weird things. So I have foobar, which should be censored, but it's actually only the first three letters are censored, and that's because of the way these things are ordered. Basically, it goes in order of, just in chronological order from left to right down the list. So it censors foo before it censors foobar, so you'll end up with foobar not actually being fully censored. So where that matters, just rearrange it like so. Boom. And then that will censor things correctly. Last but not least, we have these two options here, which are actually both things that are in the vanilla game, and they're both options in the vanilla game, but they don't have proper option menu support. You can't actually change them by any button in the options menu. So I added proper buttons for them here just for convenience sake. We have item switch tooltips. Now what that is whenever you scroll through items on your hotbar, you'll notice the name of said item will come up right above your hotbar. It's a fairly new feature. Whenever they added it, they also added the option to disable that, but they'd never put it in the options menu. So to make it easier for people who want to disable it, you can switch that on and off at will. And also the extended tooltips. Whenever I hover over items, normally you just see their normal name, or maybe some other data when it's applicable, like with this potion. If you want slightly more advanced, slightly more detailed data, you can turn this on, which is normally turned on via F3 and H, but yeah, now we'll get their ID number as well as damage values for tools and all sorts of handy information that's just nice to be able to see. So yeah, it should be a handy option for some people. I would appreciate feedback if anyone wants to try this, if you find any sorts of bugs or maybe some new features that you'd like to see added, let me know. The best place to contact me really is Twitter. It's becoming increasingly difficult for me to notice when my YouTube videos receive comments because I can't actually get to the comments center thing anymore. So yeah, you can look in the description for my Twitter and contact me there. That's probably the best way. And that should be about it. So thank you guys for watching. Download this if you like. Oh, one more quick warning. This is probably not going to be compatible with other client mods. With the tweaks I had to make to add everything into the options menu and make it fully customizable and everything like that, it's probably going to conflict with everything, including Optifine, so don't count on that. But if this is the only mod that you'd want to see yourself using anyways, then feel free to try it yourself, and I will put a download link in the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later in UHC, hopefully showing off more of this mod. Goodbye.